Welcome back to another episode of the K-Dog and Fish Show. I am Fish.
K-Dog.
Oppenheimer's in theaters now had a solid opening weekend. Critics are loving it, and that prompted the conversation, what is the best Christopher Nolan movie of all time?
Let's chat about the Batman director.
So you know he's directed more than just the Batman trilogy. I'm just saying. So
Has he?
He's actually directed 12 movies in total, Oppenheimer being his latest.
I did not know that.
It's true. $80 million opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually the highest grossing opening weekend for a Christopher Nolan film, other than a Batman movie. So
so he did do the Batman movie.
he did. So you're saying you've seen the movie.
Just want to clarify.
So we're going to rank Christopher Nolan, amazing director. I can't believe he's actually only directed 12 films, other than shorts and other things, but 12 actual movies.
Right.
And we're going to rank them.
All right, let's do it.
So his first ever directorial debut is a movie called Following. It's on the bottom of a lot of people's lists. Like it was him just getting going into his directorial debut.
Yep.
It's okay. It's just, I've seen it back in the day. It's not great, but it did get him noticed. Now, a movie we both tried to watch, I'd rank next, and that's Tenet.
Oh, I know.
Tenet,
It was hard.
Tenet is, I'm going to tell you guys a fun fact.
Yeah.
I have never, no matter how bad a movie is,
Yeah.
shut it off, except for two instances.
Okay.
One was the original Dune. I don't care who you are. If you like the original Dune, you're a crazy person.
CVB.
I actually shut it off. And the only other time I've ever shut off a movie, mid-movie, and didn't power through to the end
Yeah.
was Tenet. I was like,
I know.
45 minutes in that movie, and I'm like, this.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I love Christopher Nolan, but this was just impossible. It was convoluted. And I also like Denzel's son. I like him as an actor.
He's great. He was awesome in Ballers.
Ballers.
And he can act. He didn't get the job because he was Denzel's son, right?
Yeah.
Although I'm sure Denzel calls in some favors.
He
And
greased a couple of weeks.
I've heard, like, if you do a solid for Denzel,
You got you.
you want to be in his pocket. Trust me. So,
But he's a good actor. I just found the story was all and not all over the place in a good way, like a movie we'll get to eventually in this list, Memento. It was just not good.
Yeah,
I actually shut it off. I'm like, I can't waste 2 hours of my life, and I shut it off.
Yeah, I probably got 30 minutes into it, and I was just like, I don't know where this is going, and I actually don't care.
Yeah.
That's just truth.
So Tenet, all right.
Okay.
We got that out of the way. A movie that you may not have heard was actually directed by Christopher Nolan. It's called Insomnia. Now, Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Al Pacino and another FBI agent, they're tracking down a serial killer in Alaska,
Right.
where there's no nighttime at that time of year in Alaska. So
Right.
it was Al Pacino suffering from insomnia while trying to solve this murder, and Robin Williams' performance is crazy good.
Right.
It's such a good movie.
And spoiler alert, was he not the villain?
He was the villain.
And this is not the first time he played a villain? I'm pretty sure it is.
No, remember Photo Booth or 1 hour photo?
1 hour photo. But
1 hour photo.
I think that was afterwards, wasn't it?
1 hour photo was after Insomnia.
Yeah, and he was a villain. But I think this was the first time he played a villain.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So
Robin Williams.
Yeah. Except for Hook. But we'll get into that later.
He was Peter Pan.
Yeah, you
Okay.
dive into the real story of Peter Pan.
Anyway, Insomnia is a very good movie. But as far as like Christopher Nolan's directed some masterpieces, so
Right.
next on our list, Insomnia is right there. This might be a hot take, but I was not a fan of Dunkirk. It's okay.
It was shot well.
That's
It's super cool.
Cinematography, the direction that Nolan did, it's got some tense moments. It is beautifully shot.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a snoozer.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's a smidge on the boring side.
I'll agree with you on that.
But
We're going to get crapped on in the comments, but hey, whatever. That's
If
why we
you're
invented the internet.
if you have if I have two movies, that were released around the same time, war movies, 1917 and Dunkirk, I'd watch 1917 over again and over again. The
Gotcha.
way that was shot. Dunkirk just was a little boring.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay. Cool.
Now, of course, as you know, Christopher Nolan directed the Christian Bale Dark Knight trilogy. And
I know.
he did. And on our list, I would put Dark Knight Rises next.
Yeah, I'm torn about where I want to put this on the list, but it's hard to say because it was still a good movie, but it wasn't as good as the first two. I felt like it was almost like too studio driven, you know, a little too over the top, a little bit.
It did make a ton of money, and it follows up Dark Knight. So and I thought Tom Hardy was a good Bane.
Yeah, he was a pretty good villain, but I don't know. It just didn't. Storyline, everything with it, just for me wasn't as good as Batman Begins and Dark Knight.
Well, I think that's next on our list is Batman Begins, and I actually do think this is better than Dark Knight Rises. And I love Cillian Murphy, who's in Oppenheimer,
right?
And it's actually so cool because Christopher Nolan's worked with Cillian Murphy a few times, and finally with Oppenheimer, he's giving him that chance to be lead,
right?
And right now, I would say he was 100% locking up, from what I've heard, locking up a Best Actor nomination for Oscar time. I'm just saying, Cillian Murphy. And he plays Scarecrow in Batman.
Yeah, Batman Begins, he was like, you're a good actor and all, but you're going to put this bag on your head.
You're going to wear this bag mostly.
Don't feel bad.
Does that have anything to do with my looks?
Yeah.
Nope.
No, you're very attractive.
You're very
and again, your personality is amazing. You're just going to wear this, basically burlap sack on your head for this entire movie. But don't worry about it because it looks good.
All right, next on our list, and this is probably a movie that is got a lot of polarizing opinions on it, and that's Interstellar.
Right.
For me, it's a little long, it's a little convoluted, but there's a lot of emotion, an amazing score, and it's a really cool twist ending kind of a movie. Interstellar is very high on a lot of people's lists. It's just, for me, it's in the Christopher Nolan, in the annals of history, Christopher Nolan films, I got it smack dab in the middle there.
Yeah, I have it there too.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's
good movie, you just don't watch it again.
I wouldn't watch it over and over and over again. Now, in the fourth spot, this is where we differ a little bit, because I have Inception ranked just below Memento.
Right.
And you actually had it flip-flop.
Right.
You like Inception a little bit more than Memento.
A little bit, yeah.
For me, it was like Christopher Nolan's coming out party, Memento, and it's such an original way to tell a story.
Yeah.
And such good acting. I thought it was one of... I still think about Memento.
Yeah, Guy Pearce nailed it.
He was really good.
And it must have been a hard script.
Yeah.
Just imagine trying to keep all that together. Yeah. So we don't want to say anything because if you haven't watched it, a lot of people probably haven't seen it.
And maybe you haven't seen Memento.
Yeah.
It was very early 2000s and one of Christopher Nolan's first movies. And it's a masterpiece of storytelling. And it's the whole thing is shot telling the end of the story first and goes back to the beginning.
Yeah, that's what was...
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen a movie like that, and for me, that's why I rank it a bit higher than Inception, although Inception is incredibly cool. Leonardo DiCaprio, it's Tom Hardy, again, teaming up with Christopher Nolan, and the ending leaves people like, is this real? Is it not real? And to me, that's Christopher Nolan. Also, this is the movie where I really got to, in Inception, got to know that Christopher Nolan prefers practical effects over visual effects.
Okay.
And like the spinning in the hallway they actually built that to rotate, and the actors are walking with it as it rotates. It wasn't CGI.
That's cool. Yeah.
So Christopher Nolan, practical effects over CGI, you really get that in Inception.
Right.
It's just it's cool. For me, I just like Memento as far as originality, a smidge higher.
No, for sure. Funny story with Inception. When it came out in theaters, we went and saw it. We were about 10 minutes late. So when I watched it the second time, I enjoyed it much more.
Because you're like, what's going on?
I recommend if you're going to watch Inception, watch the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It kind of helps the storyline a little bit. You get that first 10 minutes, you miss that. You're about 2 hours going, not sure what the is going on here right now. So
there's a lot of questions up in the air, but it's original and it's cool.
Yeah.
Is
Now,
it a dream or is it real?
you don't know.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Right?
I don't know.
What's your take?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's a dream.
I agree.
I think that's, again, everyone's interpretation of the ending of Inception is all over the place. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend all these movies we're talking about because Christopher Nolan's amazing. But yeah, I think it was a dream because the top doesn't stop.
Yeah,
Just
I agree.
In my opinion.
All right.
Now, here's where our list does not differ on number 2 and number 1. I can't say enough good things about this movie, and you may have not seen it. I think it's 2005, 2006.
I don't think it's really highly well known.
It's called The Prestige. Like, movie buffs are going to know The Prestige, but I'm telling you, it is one of the coolest movies I have ever seen in my entire life. And it's got Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, and they are both magicians and rivals. And there's a great twist ending to that movie as well. I don't want to give it away because it's such a classic. If you haven't seen it and you have the opportunity now to watch a cool Christopher Nolan movie, Prestige, number 2 on both of our lists.
Yeah, now I want to rewatch it. Now that we
I
talk
actually
about it.
do want to rewatch it. Even
might do that.
Discussing this list, that's like a movie I haven't watched now in over 15 years that I would be like, I really want to watch that again. Yeah. All right. Number 1 on our list of Christopher Nolan films has to be 2008's The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, forget superhero movies. That might be one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the direction, the action, the acting, especially Heath Ledger.
Of course.
But Christopher Nolan put together a masterpiece of a movie. It was start to finish awesome. I can't not say that The Dark Knight and your list of Christopher Nolan movies might be different than ours. But for us, I think The Dark Knight has to be his best movie.
Yeah, I can't argue with it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's T to B, top to bottom. To Crow Robbie.
I think every person's got it top of their list, in my opinion. Like, it's right up there,
Now, critics are saying amazing things about Oppenheimer. Some are even saying this is his best movie ever. So once we get a chance to see Oppenheimer, we'll come back to this list and see where Oppenheimer ranks in there. I'm excited to see it. It looks absolutely great. I hear it's a smidge long.
I heard that too. I heard some mixed reviews on it. So
But Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Cillian Murphy is playing Oppenheimer. Also, there's a movie about the making of the atom bomb and all this stuff from the 80s. If you've never seen it, called Fat Man and Little Boy with Paul Newman, and I'm a huge Paul Newman fan. So I recommend that as well if you want a little bit more after seeing Oppenheimer. But loving Christopher Nolan and what he does, I am so excited to see it. And like we said at the beginning, this is already off to a hot start, having an $80 million opening weekend.
That's pretty good.
Got crushed by Barbie, but I mean, it's Barbie. What are you going to do?
Somebody knew that.
B-Money called that one. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Tell us in the comments, what do you think is Christopher Nolan's best directorial movie? Tell us. We want to hear from you. Do you agree with our list or don't agree with our list? We want to know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Fish.
K-Dog.
We'll see you again soon.
Peace.